been that kind of day. We're all exhausted. Does everyone hear me? Good sound, everyone? Good, good, good. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a long day. But I hope you guys are ready to tackle the week. We're going to get through it hopefully pretty quickly and have some crazy good food for the week. We have tamarind paste, which is hysterical that people all over the world were looking for tamarind paste this week. Hysterical, but you guys are going to love it. Those of you who have used it already and did the meal prep, so excited that you guys love the flavor. It's like sweet and sour, tangy, so good. So we're going to tackle meal prep number 5, everything here, prepandrally.com. I could show you what the PDFs look like with a Prep and Rally subscription. It's a weekly meal prep. So basically every single week we go live for an hour to hour and a half, prepping 8 or 9 staple dishes for the week. And as a subscriber, you get access to all the recipes, all of the ingredients, all the meal prep plans. So these printable PDFs right here. So this week, can you see Mike? Everyone say hi to Mike. Mike's here.
What's up?
So here's our printable PDF. This is what we're making tonight. We're making this yummy tamarind glazed salmon with a salsa on top. These tamarind meatballs with Kasha, which is so good. You guys are going to fall in love with Kasha if you've never had it before. These stuffed squash boats or zucchini boats, and then a really yummy bowl using the pesto. We're using the pesto in 2 ways. Whole thing is repurposing, saving time, saving money, saving sanity, and getting through your week easily. So we're going to do it again, all right? Don't forget to bring on your wine because part of meal prep is having fun while doing it and taking care of the week at the same time. So cheers to you guys. And make sure you write in. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from and what kind of wine you guys are drinking. I want to know. I'm having a Herzog wine, I think, 'cause I was just at the winery and it was so good. You guys saw in my stories, I was like so drunk. Oh my God, this is a really good one. I got a whole case, which was really fun. All right, so is everyone ready to prep? Are we good? Sounds good? Amazing. Any questions throughout the entire meal prep? Just shout it out. And we're going to get through this entire prep, hopefully pretty easily and quickly.
We have our first Chardonnay in Seattle, Washington.
Love it. Hey, Seattle, Washington, and Mr. Chardonnay or Mrs. Chardonnay. Cheers to you.
And someone said Carvel chocolate milkshake, just saying. I don't know who that is.
John and Lisa. That sounds so good. We need to get a Carvel closer to where we live right now. Okay, let's get started. Hey, John and Lisa. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Before we get started, shout out to Pelks.
Shout out to the Pucks as usual. Love you guys. Amazing. All my New Yorkers. Let's get started with some meatballs. Sound good? Tamarind spice meatballs. So I have a big pot here ready to go. And we are going to get started. Let's do the onions first, all right? Here we go. So, oh my gosh, so much stuff here today. Check it out. Onion. You ready? You're going to take your onion, and as usual, I keep saying I'm going to do these how-to videos, how to cut some classic things that we use for meal prep every week to get you guys more efficient in the kitchen and actually enjoying cutting because it's so much more enjoyable when you have a good knife and when you know how to actually cut something properly. So here we go. We're having this. So half of the onion is going to get chopped up and go into the actual meat mixture. I have 2.5 pounds of ground beef in this bowl. So keep that standing by, and then we're going to work the rest of the ingredients into our pot here. So if you have your oil, you could get a little bit of oil heated up in your pan or pot, we're going to call it.
We have our first question.
Yeah.
Gold Sugar Confections is asking, what's the conversion rate for cranberry sauce instead of tamarind?
Yes. So I keep telling people I would just use the same amount of, because if you can't find tamarind paste, a bunch of you guys were asking how to substitute. You could substitute with a lot of different things to give it that kind of like sweet and sour meatball flavor. But yeah, I would do the same amount of tamarind as you would do cranberry. And then just like give like a little squeeze of like one lemon or something. Should be good to give it that kind of tangy acid, okay? So here we go. So let's throw this guy out. I always do like that, and then this last part, you just kind of like run your knife through. All right, so this part is going in our pot because that's gonna season up our sauce really nicely. Love that sound. Kind of wakes you up. Everyone have a good weekend. I hope you guys all enjoyed and got out, and can't believe it's November. Sanity. All right, so this other half of the onion we're using for actually to go inside the meat mixture. Here we go. So this one you want to go a little bit finer. So when you're making these slits here, make them a little bit closer to each other because that'll give you kind of a smaller little dice. And that way they mix into the meatballs real quick. Not real quick, but really easily. Does that make sense? Because otherwise they won't hold together as well. So this goes right in here. All right. And
Yes, DeWick said that he or she had to start early.
yeah.
So we're halfway through, but the meatballs are so good.
Yay!
I never put those flavors together, but it works so well.
I'm so happy. I love to hear that. That makes me so happy. That's like my favorite kind of comment. That's great. And I hope you guys stock your pantries with tamarind from now on because it's so yummy. All right, pause. I'm getting a headband. 1 second because I need this hair out of my face. Hang on. And we back. Okay. Sorry, my hair is like in my face and ain't no time for that. All right, so here we go. Boop. Get a little spatula, mix your onions around. You're working on pretty high heat here, okay? Yum. And you guys know my little trick. Every time I'm sauteing any kind of onions, I give a little bit of kosher salt to it. And that helps bring out the moisture and helps them get nice and golden and caramelized quickly. All right, everyone's doing well? Cool.
Okay, so we have 1 onion, half of it is in here.
Exactly.
And half of it is in the ground beef.
Yep, exactly. So while that's sauteing, you don't want to burn your onions. So keep an eye on them. Work a medium-high heat. That means not all the way high. That means not all the way medium, somewhere in the middle, so you don't burn them. All right. Next, we have our meat mixture here. Let me just make sure I get my order right. All right, so 2 eggs go in here. 1, 2. Lovely. All right, and here we go. Salt, pepper, garlic powder. All right, I don't measure anything ever, but you want a nice amount of salt here to give this good seasoning.
And where are the measurements?
All prepandrally.com. So if you're just tuning in now, prepandrally.com is the website for the subscription service. Lots of fun blog posts on there, if you guys notice. And you could subscribe on there. There's 3 different options for plans. And we cook live together every week. It's a brand new menu every single week. All right, we have some salt. We have some pepper. And then after I do the pepper, we're gonna get our sauce going because we wanna get that nice and hot before we start forming our meatballs. Gotta get a new pepper grinder. This is like putting out the biggest pieces of pepper. I don't wanna do too much of that. Spicy, okay, beautiful. So we have our onions, they're looking good. So now we're gonna deglaze our pan, and a bunch of you were asking what the heck is deglaze. That just basically means to put it in the pan and let some of the moisture kind of cook out. So to give some really good flavor. All right, so we have some balsamic going in there. Some of you asked what you can substitute for balsamic. You could use like a white wine, a red wine. I've even used, what was I gonna say? I'm totally blanking out, like a teriyaki I've used in these meatballs before. I actually have one on deanieklein.com on my other website. I actually have a meatball recipe on there, so check that out for another variation of these meatballs, okay? So you're working on high heat now because you want some of that to evaporate. And then we're going to add in the rest of our sauce ingredients, which are, here we go. We have 2 jars of marinara, some garlic powder, and tamarind. All right, so here is our marinara. Super full, holy moly. Whoa, go me. Okay, all right, marinara. All right, give that a little mix around. And the holy tamarind. All right, searching far and wide for this. So we're using a 1/4 cup. Okay, if you guys have never had tamarind before, you never used tamarind before, it is so good. We're using about a 1/4 cup now. That was maybe a little bit more, but I don't mind it at all. So good. It has that like tangy, sweet and sour. It's found in a lot of Syrian foods, which is when I originally discovered it because my sister is married to Syrian. Shout out to you, Lee, if you're watching. So this is like what they have in lahmacun. They put tamarind paste in there. Such good flavor. So I try to throw it in everywhere I can. So good. Okay, garlic powder.
B. Sakal is asking, should you wait to put the marinara in until the balsamic is absorbed a little bit?
Yes, you could wait a little bit longer. You don't fully need to, but you could wait a little bit. That's typically what a reduction is, waiting a little bit for it to burn off a little, but it's totally fine. You could throw it all in here. It's gonna be cooking for a while anyways, so I just threw it all in.
So in here you have a half an onion.
So good. We have onion, we have marinara sauce, we have the tamarind, garlic powder, what am I forgetting? Balsamic. Okay, so that's our sauce. You wanna bring that up to a low boil. And meanwhile, we're gonna continue working on our meat mixture here. So we have the onion, we have the eggs, salt, pepper, garlic powder I wanna add in here as well. Yes, exactly, beautiful, okay. You should have seen us with our garlic powder. No, I shouldn't tell the story. It was funny. It was really funny. Okay, fine, I won't tell you guys. Okay. All right, so here we go. I have 3 slices of bread. Some of you guys are like, what the heck are you talking about? Why am I putting bread? I don't know what you're doing. Okay, I'm taking off the crusts. Make sure you're not boiling too much here. You don't want to burn it, but you want it to just be like a low boil. So I have 3 slices of bread. You could use whole wheat bread. You could use white bread. You could use gluten-free bread, whatever you like. And I said you could do it in a separate bowl to mix it, but I just go like this. I crumble it in. Okay, and this is how you get the fluffiest, most amazing meatballs, evs. Okay, you don't want a tough meatball. And sometimes by putting in a regular breadcrumb, you're not adding moisture to go with that, so it's just drawing out the moisture from the meat. Here we're adding bread, which is fluffy and moist to begin with, plus we're adding in some almond milk, which is going to rehydrate everything, so you get a nice fluffy meatball, but the bread still holds everything together. So if you've never used bread in your meatball, jump on it. It's good. It's that kind of day. Daylight savings. Daylight savings. Okay, hang on. So here we go. Almond milk, and we have our bread, and that's it. We did the salt, pepper, garlic powder. Beautiful. So like a half cup or so. And All right, cool. That's it. So now we're gonna mix all this together. All right. If you wanted to add some herbs into here, you could totally do that if you like. You could completely add herbs. So just mash it together, and you don't want to mush it too much because the meat will like get a little bit tough on you. Yeah.
Someone is asking, CC Blake 99 is asking, if you skip the bread, do you also skip the almond milk?
Yes, exactly, because you're adding the almond milk because you want to rehydrate it so that you don't have dry meatballs. Exactly. So if you're skipping it, definitely leave out the almond milk, and instead you could add in some breadcrumbs if you want. Make them any way you normally make your meatballs. Totally up to you.
CC Blake, I would recommend not skipping the bread.
It's good. They're good. It makes them super light and fluffy and yummy. Okay, so here we go. All right, so we have a nice boil over here. We're gonna try to get these meatballs in as quickly as possible because we got lots to do tonight. All right, so put this over here. And then just start rolling your meatballs.
What could you substitute instead of almond milk?
Water or any kind of milk you like, really. It's really just to hydrate it. Okay, so we're just rolling our little ballies here.
While you're doing that,
yeah,
it's a lot of time.
Totally.
If anybody has any questions, general questions about Crep and Rally, about Dini, about
yes,
what we're doing here,
any questions.
now's a good time to ask them.
Yeah, definite. Any questions?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet? Okay, guys, reach out with any
unsweetened?
questions. And make sure you fully blend in, yes, always unsweetened. And make sure you fully blend in your bread so you don't have like big pieces of the bread. Okay. But do you see how like, I know it sounds so gross. I hate that word moist, but there's no word for it. But they're nice, fluffy meatballs. All right, so just form your little ballies, throw them in. It's gonna be so good. You're gonna love them. And they freeze beautifully, guys. So freeze if you need.
Loving Healthy Eating is asking, any ideas for a pesto sub? They have nut allergies.
Yeah, well, so in the pesto, it's only pine nuts. But if you're allergic to pine nuts, you could use any nut you like or any seed you like. You could use sunflower seeds. You could really use anything. Yeah.
MSKW5 is asking,
wow,
can you use extra lean chopped meat?
Of course you can, MSK5. MSKW5, sorry. Of course you can. Big shout out to you.
So Over Leap is asking, how'd you come up with the Prep and Rally name?
Good question. It actually took us so stinking long. We've been working on this since, it's been like, I think it's a year, November. So it's been about a year. We had so many other names and so many different ideas, and I was racking my brain trying to figure out what the heck to call this. And then somebody that I met with, who's in marketing and PR, she actually told me to fill out this form all about your brand, who you are, what your brand stands for, what you are. And I'm like, I've done a million of these before. I do this exercise in my sleep all the time. It doesn't help. I can't figure out what I'm doing. I sucked it up. I was like, let me just do it anyways. Let's just do it for her, because she kept insisting up that I should do it. And sure enough, I did it. And I kept saying, like, we rally together and like we're this whole this community. And it was all about this like camaraderie. And then I was like, it's kind of like a pep rally where we're all like doing it together and we're motivating each other. And I was like, wait, prep rally. And it just came to me. It was like a light bulb moment. And then obviously the first thing I did was like ran to Instagram and ran to check if the domain was taken, and it wasn't. And I was like, score. And then I told you, Mike, and you were like, oh my God, it's awesome.
So Faye Cap is asking, whatever you make tonight for the week stays in the fridge, or do you freeze some of it?
No, we eat it all for the week. But I structure the meal preps accordingly, so that nothing is sitting and getting gross all week long. First of all, you have like 7 days to actually eat food until there's potential for any kind of contamination. I like things as fresh as possible, just like most people. So like tonight, the salmon with a tamarind over it, I'm not gonna bake my salmon tonight. If you wanted to tonight and get it out of the way, 100%, by all means go for it. I'm not gonna bake it tonight. But then tomorrow we're eating the fish first, because you want your fish to be the freshest. So tomorrow, usually Monday is always the fish night. So
Polyester is asking, everything you make looks so delicious. Did you say what kind of bread you use?
Thank you. I just use I think Dave's Killer Bread. It's like our favorite. I always just have that in the house for like lunches. So
But
it could be any bread. Yeah, it could be like old challah. It could be like whatever you like. Okay? Really, it could be anything. It's a really good use for old bread. Like even if you have some leftover bread from the weekend, throw it in your freezer and you could always use it for meatballs.
So another beauty of this is that it's a one-pot meal, basically, right?
Exactly.
You need your sauce and your meatballs all together at the same time.
Exactly. And we're serving this. We're serving this with the kasha. You could have this on its own. And somebody actually was asking me what to do with the squash and the zucchini that we scoop out to make those boats. Because she was like surprised that with prep and rally, we're actually throwing away the centers of the scooped squash. But I told her, I was like, no, don't throw it away. You could totally keep it and serve it with your meatballs. If you want a lower carb option, that could be kind of like your base, and then you put the meatballs on top of that. Same thing as like a spaghetti or zucchini, like spaghetti. Does that make sense?
Celebrity Fit Club saying, should I use a dry measuring cup for the tamarind or a liquid one?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter. You could do a little bit extra even, you could do a little bit less. It doesn't make a difference. The measurement doesn't need to be exact with this at all. So whichever you choose. I just use standard baking measuring cups, but as you saw, I didn't even measure it all. I don't even follow my own recipes. I'm so stubborn. Okay.
Baracha is asking, what do you do when you're testing your recipes? What do you do with the food?
Good question. So Sundays is when I prep with you guys. So I redo a meal prep that I've already tested before. And then on Thursdays, every Thursday, I test out a new one, and that's like our food for the weekend. So this stuff gets us through till about Thursday or so. And then Thursday we have new stuff, and whatever left over, I just stick in the freezer. But we normally get through all of it because we do it for lunches every single day. I send the kids food for lunches, and I send Mike lunches as well, and then I'm home for lunch too. So it's pretty sweet. All right, a few more here.
So you have a few more minutes. Why don't you, for a second, quickly, why don't you just give people the quick elevator pitch on what Prep and Rally is?
Yes.
Those that are following along and making their meatballs already know, but for those that are joining and just watching, why don't you give a quick elevator pitch?
Pressure. Okay. Well, so Prep and Rally is a meal prep subscription service. PrepandRally.com is where you can find all the information. We basically send out a weekly email reminding you that there is a new menu on the website. So you log in, download your printable PDF, which is what I'm following along right here. Every week it's a brand new menu. You get all the grocery lists, you get all the recipes. Everything is in order in which we actually do it for the Prep Rally, which is what this is considered. And then we cook it all live together. If you don't want to cook it live, you don't have to. You can do it on your own. But it just makes it kind of fun, and you're not alone in the kitchen, which is awesome. And then you have food for the week just to simply pull out, heat, assemble if needed, and you're good for the entire week. We're shopping once, we're prepping once, so that all the hard work, all the dishes, everything, all the annoying stuff is done, and we take care of the week together. So, all right, so make sure these are all submerged, okay? And you're gonna wanna give it like a little gentle stir every so often just to make sure everything is under the sauce and nothing's burning. So once it's kind of boiling, you want to lower that to a simmer so that nothing burns, okay? And those are our meatballs. So that's like the most labor-intensive thing we're gonna make tonight. If you wanted to make this into like a meat sauce, I was thinking that could be a lot faster and easier, but like my kids love meatballs. They ask for meatballs and biscotti, I think like twice a week. Meatballs and biscottis.
Okay, so you're covering.
Another good thing to do is like give it a little shake like this every so often. Instead of having to mix it, just give it a shake. See, it just kind of rotates everything. So yeah, it's on medium or so heat now. How's everyone doing?
Everybody's good.
We're all good? We're set?
We have some early meal preppers that finished and are now tuning in just to watch.
Awesome. Love that. Welcome, guys. Thank you guys all for being here. We got so many new subscribers today, so thank you guys all for joining. To all my newbies, welcome to the Prep Rally, and thank you guys all for spreading the word and sharing. I'm obsessed with seeing all your posts and your pictures. It's just so cool. I love it. Cheers.
Loving Healthy Eating is asking if they can use date salon and lemon instead of the tamarind.
100%. Yep, that was my suggestion as well. That's a good sub for it because it also has that tangy kind of sweet flavor. So that's a perfect sub for it. All right, so we're moving on to our sweet potatoes. Is everyone good? We all set?
Yeah, Meira is asking if we can just slow down a bit.
Yes, 100%.
But why don't you start cutting?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We start?
So what do we have going on right now?
Okay, so we have the meatballs. Yep, we have the meatballs. You make the sauce, and then we actually have our meatballs in there. I'm going to raise it a little bit. You want to always make sure whenever you're cooking anything, you want to make sure you see at least a little bit of bubblage going on somewhere. So you see like a little bit of bubble. See that? No? Okay. Hold on. So you want to always make sure that's boiling a little bit at least, okay? Oh, there we go. Okay. So always like take a look at it. You want to make sure it's doing something. If it's not doing something, you're not going to be cooking it. But you don't want it to be boiling. So
people are saying it's, well, Pelk is blaming it on Sarah that they mixed their meatballs and they fell apart. What's the problem? They didn't mix the eggs enough?
Damn, really? Did you use the bread? Let me know if you use the bread. They should hold together. And you have 2 eggs in there, right? And you measured out the milk. They should hold together. Let me know. I could help you. Worst case, you could always, if you haven't formed them all yet, you could always add some breadcrumb to bind them or a little bit more of the bread if you need. That could help absorb some of the moisture if maybe you put in too much milk or something. That could help. Okay? So, here we go. We're getting going on. Why are you laughing?
They're not going to make the meat sauce.
Oh, that's a great idea. Go for it. That's a perfect idea. And it's easier. We should have done meat sauce to begin with. This is my kids love meatballs. But meat sauce is a great idea. All right, so I have 8 potatoes here. I said to do medium potatoes. These are kind of massive potatoes. So we'll see how many we want to get through.
Couple of questions.
2 baking sheets.
If you don't have bread, what do you sub for? And if you don't have the almond milk, what do you sub for on the meatballs?
If you don't have bread, remove the egg and just do some breadcrumb just to bind it. And then if you don't have the almond milk, you could just do like a little bit of water just to bring that moisture back in there. Or if you want to use like a soy milk, any kind of milk. Just don't use like a sweet milk or like a vanilla milk because that wouldn't be so yummy. Okay, so our potatoes are going on here. We'll rearrange them afterwards. Let's first get chopping done out of the way. These are pre-washed. I keep the skins on. You could peel if you want, but why do that? That takes forever. And the skins are good for you. So we're just going to cut these and we're going to roast them. Oh, oven. Pause. Hold on. 425, okay? Heat your ovens to 425. All right, so.
For people that are doing meat sauce, should they still add the egg and bread and everything?
No. If you're doing the meat sauce, I would just do straight up meat. What's more ideal for like a meat sauce is to really saute the meat first, get it brown, and then introduce the sauce to it. But this could work though. I mean, it should still work. It'll all cook together. So you should be fine, I think.
All right. A couple more questions.
Should be fine.
Lizzie Lizzie's asking, what can you use that is gluten-free for the meatballs?
Gluten-free bread. Gluten-free bread, gluten-free breadcrumbs. I feel like it's so great nowadays with gluten-free because there's so many options. But yeah, any kind of gluten-free bread or breadcrumb is perfect. You could also make these without any bread. This just helps make them really fluffy. So I love it. Makes them nice and fluffy. All right, here we go.
So 2 tins. Why 2 tins?
What do you say tins? That's so funny. 2 baking sheets because we have lots of sweet potatoes to get through, Michael.
That's why?
Yeah, we have a lot of sweet potatoes because we're using the sweet potatoes for 2 meals. It's going to be for Thursday's grain bowl, and it's also going to be a side dish for our which dinner? Hang on, pause. It's going to be a side dish for our zucchini boats.
You're preheating the oven on roast or on bake to 425?
I always do bake because I assume that no one has roast. Whenever I'm alone just cooking for us, I always use convection roast because it's the best. Convection roast like 370 I love doing. It just like cooks things so quickly. But I always assume that not everyone has that. So whenever I give any kind of cooking temperatures, I always just do it regular.
So
bake.
someone that Esther Lipkin has a roast or bake option. So what should she do?
If you were
roast but do lower temp?
Well, you could do the regular still and do 425. If you want these to go quicker and use convection, convection roast 370 for my oven is perfection. So you could definitely do that. It just helps roast things so quickly. You get that nice crispy exterior so they're not in there for too long. But 425 on regular works perfectly as well. Okay?
And yes, it's Kat. We did the meatballs already. If you have any questions, let us know.
Yes, did the meatballs. Meatballs are the best. And yes, you could definitely you could totally swap out the meat for ground chicken, but I would just reduce the amount of the milk because it tends to be like wetter ground chicken and turkey. So yeah, but just do it until it holds together. You should be good. You may not even need any milk in there.
So how thick? Like a quarter
Yeah,
of an inch?
like 1/4 of an inch or so. Try to get as even as you can. Okay. And a good sharp knife is essential here. Anything like this, I usually end up like tossing. Okay, so lots of sweet potatoes. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Olive oil and salt. Classic. Okay, that's like my go-to. All right, so here we go. Just gonna get these all coated, and then we're gonna put them on a single layer as possible. I'm gonna alternate. Hold on. Okay. Some nice kosher salt and.
Irene, that's a fantastic point.
What?
Someone asked if you covered the pot of meatballs. Yes.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yep,
My fault.
covered. Gosh, Mike, no. Yes, covered. Okay, you see it's boiling nicely. I'm gonna lower it a teeny tiny. Yum. Looks so good. Okay, here we go. Give it a little toss around, and we're gonna get this in the oven. How's everyone doing?
Queen Malka is asking that she heard using olive oil at high temperature isn't healthy. Does that apply to roasting too? What do you
Yes, I know of that well because I used to cook for a client who wanted me to use like macadamia nut oil because that's the best for high heat temperatures. Also like avocado oil stands up to high heat. I know that's the case. I always end up using olive oil for everything. I'm not saying it's the healthiest because it's much better when you're just using it raw and uncooked. But I don't know. I don't know if it's because I'm lazy. I actually have avocado oil. Someone sent me avocado oil last week. I totally could have used that. But
not
yeah,
everybody has avocado
not
oil.
everyone has. You could use any kind of oil you want. If you want to use canola oil, olive oil, whatever you want. But yeah, completely. I've heard that as well. I believe that is true. So here's a little issue with these potatoes, that they're all different sizes. So like that's gonna cook way faster than that one. So if you can, try to,
Big ones on one sheet, smaller ones on another?
yep, so they all cook evenly. So like these are somewhat okay. I don't wanna waste too much time doing this, but Let's try to get some of the smaller babies on here, some of the bigger guys on here. Those are really fine. Here we go. Yum, I love sweet potatoes. Try to get them in a single layer as possible. It's not always so possible, but also once they're in the oven for a little bit, they kind of shrink, and then you could move them around.
Deb's Glansman is asking, can you recommend the baking trays that you use?
Oh, these are my favorite. It's in the shop section of my highlights. The USA pans are so good. There's an extra large baking sheet.
The shop section of the website, you mean?
Of the website. Sorry, what did I say?
You said shop section.
Oh no, shop section of my highlights in my Instagram. If you go to my Instagram profile, it's in my highlights titled shop. I think it's called shop. So it's in there. There's like a swipe up in there, so it's easy. But they're the greatest. They're non-stick. They're so good. I'm like obsessed with them. They're like $27 or something each, but they're massive, and I use them multiple times a week. And they also stay like looking nice. I feel like I've had the other baking sheets for years, and they're just nasty. These really hold up nicely, and they're great. Okay, so those are gonna be in like 30 minutes or so. Let's see. What did I tell y'all here on my PDF? Okay, here we go. Yeah, 30 to 40 minutes. So we'll check on them then, okay? Meanwhile, let's get going on our Kasha. Who knows what Kasha is? Anybody made Kasha before? It's like the most nostalgic smell in the world. Oh my God, it just smells like cozy home. I love it. My mom used to make it every single Sunday. Yum, look at these meatballs. It smells so good. Yummy. So good. Okay, here we go. So we have our pot over here. I'm doing it in a parve pot because we're gonna be using the Kasha in the cheesy squash boats, and we're also gonna be using it as a side dish for our meatballs. Instead of like doing it on rice, which you could do rice as well, we're doing it on with Kasha because it's such a good ingredient. I love it. All right, so again, my oil's going in. So here's what we're gonna do. Anybody had toasted Kasha before? Because it's the most addictive thing ever. When you toast it, it gets nutty, kind of like any nut. When you toast it, it gets way more fragrant and flavorful. It's the best ever. So I have my Kasha here. We're gonna wait for this to heat up one more second. And then we're basically gonna toast all of this for like 5 or so minutes. And then we're gonna remove a half a cup of it and reserve it in here. So make sure while your oil's heating, grab yourself a half cup measure and there's like a storage bowl. Because we're gonna reserve some of the toasted Kasha just like on the counter for the week. And you're gonna use this on Thursday to top your salad with. It is so good. It's like crunchy little bits of these that kind of toast and pop like a popcorn. They get so flavorful and crunchy and amazing. I remember when I was testing out this recipe, I had some left over for like Friday night and I served them on like a squash soup. They were so beautiful and so good. They add like a ton of flavor and they're also very, very healthy. Okay, oh wait, no, not doing a half cup of that, sorry. I'm like not thinking today. Is anyone else so thrown off with this time change? I'm dying. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right, that's what I have for this. Okay, so you're basically gonna coat it in the oil and just keep mixing it around for a few minutes. That's just gonna get toasty and nutty. So good. Woo, it's a scary looking Kasha. Oh my God, there's the smell already. So you see some of them are white, some of them are like pre-popped a little bit. I guess maybe they toast them beforehand. Maybe these were pre-toasted, or just some of them toasted. But we're gonna toast them even more, and they're so yummy.
Someone's asked, the kosher bell's asking, is Kasha and buckwheat the same thing?
Yes, same exact thing. Super nutritious, healthy, and I think it's actually gluten-free. Almost like 1,000% positive it's gluten-free. So it's a really hearty, great grain. It's so good. This is like Kasha and varnish goods, if you guys have heard of that, the classic Jewish dish, where it's this that you cook. Normally, like you mix an egg into it before you cook it, and then yeah, you cook it like with an egg, and then you serve it with little bow tie noodles. So cute.
Do you have the package of Kasha? Queen
Yes.
Monk is asking to see it.
Here we go. Right here. Ta-da! Brought to you by
Wolf's Kasha.
Wolf's Kasha. I sent Mike out to get it because my head was like not on my body today and I wasn't thinking straight and I kept forgetting ingredients to buy. So he ran out and found this for me.
MSKW5 is asking, are you using whole kasha? I think the answer is
Yes, exactly. So on the PDF, it'll tell you 2 cups of whole kasha. You want the whole kind. Some of them come like milled or ground. You want this nice whole kasha. You see the like full little nuggets. They're so cute.
Okay, Dre is asking about the sweet potatoes. Are they still going to be good by Thursday?
Yes, 100%. Roasted vegetables are great, and they completely hold up all week long. They're perfect.
Okay,
If you wanted to save some of the sweet potatoes and roast some of them fresh for Thursday, by all means do that. You can always make any adjustments like that you need it. Like if you want to make something fresh that night, totally. Completely up to you. Okay, yum.
Kitchen tested saying she changed farro instead of kasha, and she's so excited.
Yay, I love farro. That's another really, really hearty, amazing grain. It's so good for you. There's so many great grains that nobody knows about. Or even if you know about them, I feel like they're not as available and people don't always use them. All right, let's take a little look at our meatballs. Yummy. Let's shake them around a second. Hold on. Make sure it's not too hot. Okay, give a little mix around. This looks so stinking good. Okay, here we go. So, what are we up to? Lovely. Okay. If you want, you could season with a tiny bit of salt now. We're going to add some more salt later. But you could do a little bit now just so that these little toasty guys have some flavor. All right, I'm going to leave it 1 more minute, and then we should be good to take these off. It smells so good. Are you guys smelling your kitchen? It smells insane.
Kitchen tested. Once again, Nora ate the meatballs for dinner. She
yes!
said, OMG.
Yes. Oh, I'm so happy. And Nora's picky, you guys. Your kids could eat well, I promise you. Keep at it. I think the biggest thing for picky eaters, I just posted a blog post on my website. It's on prepandrally.com. You can check it out. Some of my little tips and tricks to getting kids to eat healthy. I have some upcoming Insta Lives with some cool people where we're going to be discussing healthy eating for kids because I think it's so important in how to get them to eat right. But I think the biggest thing is just introducing them to new flavors every single night so that you don't get stuck in that pizza chicken nugget rut, which I think as a busy, working most of the time, hectic, busy people, I mean, it's really easy to just get stuck in that because there's just no time to make dinner every night. But that is why we bring you Prep and Rally. Okay?
Amar SBT, check out Prep and Rally.
Oh my God, yum. Ooh, I just lost all my little kasha, guys. All right, I'm going to put one here. I want to taste one, see if it's ready. Okay, guys, taste one. Okay, yum. Okay, put it all the way down to low. I'm going to take my little half-cup measure, remove. Oh, it smells so good. Removing half a cup of it. Do you smell it? It's like toasty and nutty and cozy. I never say cozy when I talk about food, but like it reminds me of home. My mom used to make this every single Friday night because my sister Gila was obsessed with it. Oh my God, it just smells like home. Okay, to this, we're going to add our water. Follow your PDF for all the measurements. All right, water's going in. And we have our salt. Boop. A little bit more.
Emma's Eats is asking, why are you removing some of the kasha?
So this we're gonna let it cool first, and then we're gonna cover it and just leave it on the counter for the week. And then on Thursday for our grain bowls, you're gonna top your grain bowl with this because they're just so good. They're crunchy and they're nutty, and they add such boost of flavor and crunchiness.
Renee is asking, can you toast the farro just like the kasha?
Good question. I think you can. I'm pretty sure. I've never done it myself, but I'm pretty sure. Well, Mel, did you do it? Melinda Strauss just did farro. I'm not sure if you toasted or not. I think you could toast any grain because it pops. It doesn't just toast it, but like it pops and becomes white. So I think you could do that with any grain, but let me know, Mel. Okay? Cheers, you guys. Is anyone drinking their wine?
Mom Loves All Things Fashionable is asking where you get your knives sharpened.
I do it myself. I use I love this guy. It's like the easiest thing. You just get it on Amazon or Bed Bath. It's Wusthof, and there's like 2 little things that you go through. This one, and you go through this one, and it sharpens them every time, and it's so simple. It's so simple. Okay, so here we go. So we're bringing this up to a boil, then we're gonna lower and simmer it, cover it for like 15, 20 minutes simmered. All right, so bring it up to a boil. Meanwhile, while that's coming up to a boil, which will be any minute now, edamame. We are steaming our edamame in a pot instead of edamame because I forgot edamame today because it's Daylight Savings Day, yay! But I happen to have had a lot of squash that was sent to me by accident, I was going to use a squash for the squash boats, but they were like kind of small. And meanwhile, I had zucchini already, a lot of them. So I'm using zucchini for the squash boats, and I'm using squash in place of the edamame. So as usual, everything is always customizable here, and you guys can always swap things out, make it work for you, use what you have in your house. I don't want you to ever feel like you need to go to a store and pick something up if you don't have it, okay? Covering the lid, lowering to a simmer, let that do its thing.
Michelle is asking, why do you use a Dutch oven instead of a regular pot?
I could use a regular pot. This is just what I have that's parve, because I want to be able to use it for the meatballs and for the dairy thing over there. But you could use any kind of pot.
Right, and if you're not kosher, it doesn't matter.
Exactly, 100%. Any pot works.
MSKW5 is asking how the wine is.
It's actually phenomenal. That's my mother-in-law, you guys. I love her. We went to the winery this past week, Herzog, and it was so good and so much fun. So big cheers to you, Mama. So good. I'm actually able to drink wine again, which is good because that day was a lot of wine. Okay, so your edamame or my squash, I'm just gonna cover, and you're gonna bring, yes, I have a little bit of water on the bottom here. All right, so your water is in here, squash or edamame is in here. My squash is likely gonna take a little bit longer than the edamame, but go until it's, till it's heated through. The edamame doesn't have to cook for long. It's like 2 or 3 minutes. I'm gonna leave this probably for like 5 or 6 or 7 minutes or so.
It's
okay.
Snuck a meatball and said that it is so good.
Yay! I'm so happy. Guys, I'm so excited for you to buy Tamarind every day. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Okay, next thing we're gonna do. Moving right along. Is everyone good? We all happy? We all set? We all good? Yeah? Feeling good? Great. Okay, so let's bring back some tamarind. So because we already are using the tamarind once, and because I made you all crazy to go out and buy it,
sorry, one more
we're using it twice.
Yeah. Should you bring the edamame up to a boil before you cover it?
No need. You're just steaming it. You have some water in there. You could completely just cover it. Cover it, let it just cook and do its thing until it's cooked through, and then remove from the heat. You good. Okay, so yeah, what I was saying with the tamarind, because you guys went out and bought it, and it's not like the cheapest thing to buy, I always like to try to use something as much as possible so that there's no waste. But even if you do have a little bit left over after tonight, this holds up really, really well in the fridge. So you could completely leave it in the fridge, but I wanted to utilize it in 2 different ways. So behold, salmon, okay? So we're first gonna make our little sauce over here. So it's going in our sauce. We have our tamarind, and it's kind of dark, so it may scare you a little bit, but it is so yummy. Okay, tamarind in here with a little bit of maple syrup to sweeten it. So it's kind of like this tangy, sweet, yummy, so good. And I'm just gonna season my salmon right on top. In an ideal world, I would just cut that off, but we're not in an ideal world right now, okay? This is like food video, where things are pre-portioned. No, I'm kidding. It's pretty real, but in an ideal world, I would cut that off, I'm just saying. Okay, next up, we have some...
Did you get that from a grocer or from the fish market?
I got that from Whole Foods, actually. Yeah, but when possible, go to your fishmonger, your local fishmonger, and order it from him and demand that you get some good cuts of fish. So it's pretty nice though. I kind of like it. I would just cut that piece off.
Claire123 is asking, can I freeze the salmon glaze?
Yeah, no reason why not.
Does that 100%. Mean before or after? Oh, glazed.
Glazed.
You mean glazed but uncooked?
Yeah. I would say before you cook it is better. But yeah, I don't see why not.
It's better to freeze it before you cook it or before you glaze it?
Before you cook it. You could glaze it and then freeze it. That's fine. That should be totally fine. Okay. Oregano, chili powder. Again, if you have kids, you want them to eat it, I wouldn't do so much. Depends how spicy your chili is. I'm just gonna do a little bit because Mike actually does not eat It's one of those days. Mike does not eat salmon. Hey, pretty. You're cute. Awesome. You guys, do you feel me on daylight savings? Is anybody feeling me, Mike? Are you just not telling me the response? Are they feeling me?
No, you're the only one.
I'm the only one who's a hot mess today.
About the extra hour today. You're the only one.
I know. I just feel tired. I don't know. It's really affecting me. Yum. Also, because I get whisked out of bed at the crack of dawn and forced to make oatmeal and pancakes on the double. It's just too early for all that stuff. Okay. Now we have some garlic powder. All right. That's it. Beautiful.
Okay, so what's in there again?
So we have our tamarind, olive oil, maple syrup, oregano, chili,
Garlic powder.
Garlic powder and olive oil. So when
there are a few people that are on board the Hot Mess Express.
Thank you. Love you guys. Thank you. Someone's with me here, Mike.
Those are not my words.
Beautiful. I love that. Hot Mess Express. You guys are cuties.
CC Blake, you
Love
do refrigerate the tamarind.
Yep. Keep it in the fridge. Mike, like how you knew that. Love it. So we're just glazing it. So just coat your little salmon in this guy. What I'm going to do is not cook it tonight. I'm going to cook it fresh tomorrow. Let this soak up all those yummy flavors overnight. And then I'm going to cook it fresh tomorrow because I have to heat it anyways tomorrow. So why not reduce one cooking time and just bake it fresh tomorrow?
Mira is asking if the meatball should be completely covered by the sauce.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's fine if they're not totally in, but like keep mixing them around so they all get some time in the sauce. Let them all like share the glory in that yummy sauce. Okay.
Celebrity Fit Club forgot to buy maple sauce. What else could he or she use?
Honey. Yum. Honey. Or brown sugar if you want. Just want like some sweetness.
Leave it out? I think it's a woman.
Yeah, you could.
Leave it out?
It's yummy with it, but you totally could leave it out for sure. When I originally wrote this recipe, it was for like tapas. So we flaked it and put on a little tostada. So this makes a really good appetizer if you ever want an appetizer. I'm putting it back here because I'm going to fridge it later and not cook it tonight. Okay?
Okay, so another question.
Yep.
Loving Healthy Eating is asking if you can skip the chili powder altogether.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. You guys can do whatever you like. There are no rules here, y'all.
Right, so what do we have so far? We have the potatoes in the oven.
Potatoes in the oven.
We have meatballs here, edamame slash sweet
Slash
squash.
squash.
Squash there.
We have our kasha, our salmon that's marinating overnight, or you could bake it right now if you want. And you could put it in the same oven as this. You could totally bake it at 425. That's completely fine. So if you're wondering if you could cook it at the same time, go right ahead. And next we're gonna make our salsa. Original recipe was for peaches. It's not exactly peach season and we don't need to use peaches if you don't want to. You can always use whatever you like. I am using strawberries today. So we're gonna do a quarter of a red onion. Okay, the other quarter, I guess you could keep in your fridge or you could make a salad with it tonight. We could have used it in like our meatballs or something, but.
Dee, did you know that Gold Sugar Confections and Meira B are sisters?
Whoa!
Those are two people that
Wait, did I know that?
That comment often.
Wait, I think I maybe did know that. Did I know that?
I don't know, I'll ask them. Gold Sugar Confections, did Dini know that?
I can't remember if I think you told me that. I'm pretty sure. I think I knew that, which is freaking awesome. Yes, I remember you said, yes, I knew that. I knew that. Because I remember Gold Sugar Confection was telling me that her sister's going to jump on board soon because when we were testing out the concept back in the day, she was all on it, but she hasn't joined yet, but then she joined and she's awesome. So you guys are great. Love you guys. Okay, so this is like the coolest squad ever. Seriously, I'm so lucky. I love you guys. You're really awesome. Like we all get to cook together. How cool is this? I used to hate being isolated in the kitchen. And also the fact that Mike is here with me is great. Normally he's like watching TV and like living his best life and I'm like slaving in the kitchen. So, I'm kidding. Mike does a ton. But when it comes to cooking, I'm usually like cooking in the kitchen at night.
Meira is the one that
So
got
it's
Gold
nice.
Sugar Confections on board.
Oh, really? Was it that way?
Thank you, Meira.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm confusing someone. Well, either way, you guys are awesome. And I love you all. And Gold Sugar Confection has gorgeous stuff on her feed, P.S. She does like a lot of desserts, like gorgeous desserts, FYI. So we have an onion. We're making a salsa right now. So we have some red onion. I'm going to be using strawberries in mine. How are we doing on time, FYI?
It's about
What time is it?
50 minutes.
Okay, cool. So we'll probably finish our salsa and then break it maybe.
What do you have left to do after the
Okay,
salsa?
2 more minutes on the squash. This should be done in a second also.
Let's see it.
Yummy.
So the water basically
Absorbed. Yep. We're gonna let it go for like 1 more minute. Actually, you know what we could do? We could probably shut it off and let it just sit there for like another minute or two to absorb everything and then uncover it. All right, so if you're doing peaches, chop up your peaches now into like a fine dice. Otherwise, whatever fruit you're using, chop it up. Also, if you like more of like a blended kind of salsa, that's more like a puree, you can completely use your immersion blender or any kind of food processor and just blend it all together. I happen to like a salsa that's like, again, I hate the word chunky. Does anyone else hate the word chunky? I hate the word chunky. Oh, gross. I think of like vomit. But it serves a purpose because how else do you say chunky? Like piecey? That doesn't sound much prettier.
Are you going to immersion blend this?
No,
No.
I'm not. Because I like it to be chunky, Mike. You weren't listening.
CC Blake, check out the printable PDF for the exact measurements.
CC Blake, I love you. You're all up on here. You're awesome. I love all your questions. You guys are all amazing.
C for sure.
C for sure.
Also hates the word chunky and moist, just like you.
Thank you. I'm so happy. You guys are so with me tonight. You stand by me. I love it.
So how are you cutting
So
it?
I'm just like cutting it into little teeny tiny dice. Okay? And this is gonna go so well with our salmon, but use any fruit you like. You could use mangoes, you could use kiwis, you could use, I was even thinking of doing persimmon. How good would that be? Like a persimmon salsa, kind of cool, right? Super seasonal. But anything you like, it's totally up to you.
How many strawberries, roughly?
I just
20?
used a whole container of them. Yeah, maybe it's like 18. I don't know. 20. Yeah.
Supermarket junkie wants to know if you can use plums.
Totally. Why not? Yeah, anything you like. Anything you have in your fruit bin, like, go for it. Right?
Hannah Salmon is using mangoes.
Love it.
It's
Oh my God.
delicious.
I love mangoes. We love mango. We call Mike the mango monster, in case you guys don't know that. Even the girls.
Lies.
The girls call him the mango monster because he loves mangoes. Right?
Alana Pollock is asking if you use any veggie wash, or do you just rinse it?
You could use distilled vinegar, like white vinegar. That works just as well. But yeah, they do have like veggie washes that you could get at Trader Joe's. I like scrub things, and then I like, especially with like herbs as well, I like shake them in the water. And then I do that a couple more times just to make sure all the grit and dirt and bugs and all that good stuff.
Okay, its cat is saying that her buckwheat isn't absorbing the water. Could she have overcooked it?
Why is it not absorbing the water? That's bizarre because mine absorbs the water. Why would yours not? You use whole buckwheat? Look, check it. I want to be a show off, but mine's perfect. Okay. You effed up. No, I'm kidding.
Chris,
I don't know. Shoot, I'm sorry. Is it really not? How would it not absorb the water? I don't understand. Yours still have like a lot of water there. Let me know what's up. I can try to help you.
It's got to clarify your question.
Clarify,
please.
you're cute.
And then Chris is asking
Krista. Oh, I know you, Krista. Hi, Krista. I recognize all
regarding
these names.
edamame. Do you eat the outer peel or do you peel them?
No.
You eat the.
You eat the insides.
Yeah, it looks like peels.
Holy hot. Yes, I'm gonna undo this right now because I don't want it to be too soft, but I have my squash here. Your edamame should definitely be more than done. If you didn't take them off already, do so now. But yeah, edamame is you pull off the outer leaves and you eat the little center guys. Kids love edamame. My kids are obsessed.
Supermarket junkie and
So good.
MSW5 suggested maybe the flame is too low.
Yeah, could be, 100%. Make sure it came to a boil first, and then after it's boiling, lower to a simmer, and then keep it cooking. Yeah, keep cooking. If it doesn't seem like they're like mushy and squishy yet, then that doesn't mean you add too much liquid. That means you just didn't cook it long enough or your flame wasn't high enough, 100%.
Steel Liberty is asking what size pot did you use for the meatballs. It was a big crowd, so stirring them to coat them broke apart most of the meatballs.
What broke apart the meatballs?
Stirring it in a smaller pot.
Oh, really?
This is a big pot.
This is like, it says it underneath the pot. I don't know if it's a 6 quart or 12 quart. Maybe 12 quart?
It's a big one.
Is that possible? Probably 12 quart, I would think. But yeah, that's why you gotta be very gentle when you're stirring them, like go around the sides. Or what I do is just what I was doing before. Here's this. You just take your little towel-y guy and you just kind of give it a little shake. And then there's so much sauce in there anyways now that once they start to cook and like hold together, and you're good. Okay?
It smells awesome.
Ah, my eyes itchy. Yeah, these meatballs are yum. Okay, let's finish up with this. And then to our salsa, we're gonna add basil because we're already using basil in the pesto this week. So why not repurpose our leftover basil in salsa? All right, you could use cilantro here if you wanted. You could use parsley, anything you like. I just like to always use up as whatever we can because we're already buying it. So that's how we save the big bucks. Okay. I'm so hyper today. Stop laughing at me. Okay, so.
I'm not laughing.
Oh my God. Okay, so we have our basil.
All right. Show people how you do this.
In an ideal world, you could do a chiffonade, and I'll just show you what a chiffonade is because we maybe have like another minute on this video. What do we have? How much time do we have?
Oh, about 5 minutes.
If you wanted to do a fancy thing called a chiffonade, you would layer up all of your basil like this, and then you take it and you roll it into like a tight little bundly nugget.
Like a cigar.
Like a cigar. And then you take your knife and you run your knife through it and you get these beautiful little things. Because basil is a very fragile, delicate herb, any like chop or cut really bruises it. So you see how like this is all these brown things on it? That's because it's just been like handled a lot. So that's why a chiffonade is a very popular cut because, yeah. But we're chopping it anyways because we're making a salsa, so don't even chiffonade it. I'm just teaching you because it's fun. So, but you could just give it a rough chop.
Usual question. A couple people have already asked, including Loving Healthy Eating, Gold Sugar Confections. What's the frozen equivalent?
Frozen equivalent for basil. Question of the day. Let's see. Let me try to see here. Quarter cup chopped. I mean, I'm so not familiar with those frozen ones. Like I couldn't really tell you like if they're more potent or not than, because it's just like frozen in oil. Like what are they frozen with? Could someone clarify like what exactly is in those frozen things? They're not more potent, I don't think, or any more basil-y than regular basil, right?
Loving Healthy Eating or Gold Sugar?
Yeah, I would do like maybe 4 or 5 if they're like the equivalent of like a regular basil just in frozen form.
That looks like a handful, right? Like you can kind of hold all of that in your hand. But
yeah, it's supposed to be like a quarter cup, but you could use any amount. I mean, if you could add a few cubes of it, and if you think you want more, add some more. There's no like right or wrong number here. It's totally a preference thing. Like Mike hates basil, so he's not gonna even touch this. So sad, right? Boo.
You're very proud of yourself when you broadcast to the people that I don't like.
Well, it's funny because everyone says like I have a husband who's so picky. I'm not sure if I could do your meal prep, and I was like, I have a husband who's a little bit picky.
I don't think I'm so picky.
You're picky.
I don't think so.
I was picky.
MSKW5. Am I so picky?
MSKW5. He's so picky. Stand with me. I took you to the winery. You better stick on my side. He's picky.
Okay, so Gold Sugar
I'm not
Confections.
picky. I just have things I don't like.
Gold Sugar Confections is saying that 1 cube equals 1 TSP. Is that a tablespoon?
Teaspoon.
That's a teaspoon?
Of. Let me get my little thingamabobber. Is 1 teaspoon of what? Of basil? Yeah. Is it stored?
1 cube equals 1 teaspoon.
Is it stored in oil? Like, how do they store these little cubies?
We have a little argument here, whether it's stored in oil or canola or...
It has to be stored in oil because they couldn't store it in water, and they can't just store it in nothing, I don't think. Could they?
Okay, we have about a minute and a half left.
Okay, so here we go. So we have our...
And then we're going to start another live, right?
Yes, exactly. Because all we have to do is just finish up a pesto, which will take 5 seconds, because we're just using an immersion blender, and then we're just assembling our little boats.
Okay, so you want to stop it now? And then
sure. I'm just going to continue juicing 2 limes, and then we're going to be right back. Okay?
Okay, so juice 2 limes.
Juice your limes, and meet me right back here.
What's in here again? Just onions,
strawberries, onions, basil. Instead of the strawberries, you could use peaches or any fruit you like. Limes, and then we're going to be adding some maple syrup because we already have it anyways, and to add like a little bit extra sweetness if you want, or you could omit if you like. A little salt and olive oil. Some nice fruity extra virgin olive oil here, if you have.
We still have a minute. So again, you're juicing 2 limes.
Exactly. Just to give it some nice acidity, make it more like salsa-like.
Gold Sugar Confections is saying the ingredients say canola oil.
Canola oil, okay.
Talk about the basil.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So in that case, maybe you don't need to add as much oil into the salsa because there's oil in there anyways. So yeah, I would do like maybe 6 of them or something. I like things very herby, but yeah, go with a few and then you can always adjust, add more if you need.
All right, so we're going to stop and we'll pick right back up in a minute.
Awesome. All right, let's do it.